This is the 22nd episode of God's Chosen podcast. Today we are going to talk about Meeting Billionaire JT Foxx and some observations I made on why he is who he is. Let's dive in. Enjoy.
What up, what up? It's God's Chosen. How y'all doing? Today, Chosen Ones, we're going to talk about a meeting that I had earlier today. Earlier today, I had a meeting with a multi-billionaire, JT Foxx, and his crew. So, honestly, the meeting went, it was cool. It was inspiring to see how hard JT works, him and his staff, and he's actually already a billionaire. He works hard. He puts in crazy hours. I mean, on this particular call, you could tell he was tired. He didn't get that much sleep. And he still had things to do after all these calls. Like I was on 2 calls. The first call had about 80 people in the room. The second call had about 30 people in the room. And basically, JT was going from person to person, him and his team, trying to figure out how they could help them to raise money, how to get funding for their business or endeavor, offered his time in the way of mentorship if that was something that was needed instead of money, because maybe some people didn't have a deal or anything solid that they needed money for, but he offered to partner with them by sharing his expertise, his mentorship, and giving access to his network to basically help people to achieve success. And I think that for somebody to give up their time like that, I mean, pretty incredible. Because I know he doesn't have to do it. There are not many billionaires out there that are on the phone or on a conference call or on a Zoom meeting with regular people such as myself. They're usually tied up in mergers, acquisitions, and speaking with other billionaires and living that lifestyle, you know? And based off what I've seen, JT still gets to live that lifestyle, still gets to go do cool things with other wealthy individuals, but he really puts in the time to foster relationships so to foster relationships with people who are not wealthy, people who are just looking for a shot or an opportunity to improve their lives and their situation, I think is commendable. I mean, the guy works hard. He doesn't necessarily have to work that hard, I don't think, because he's got money. So it's not about money per se. I mean, when you talk to him, you can see that he's a no-nonsense guy. He definitely wants to make sure that he's investing wisely. He always says he doesn't invest in deals, he invests in people. And I think that's a great philosophy. So, it's about 80 of us on this first Zoom call. A few people are pitching their ideas and what they need funding for. And, everybody is watching and observing and basically trying to learn what not to say, right? And we're trying to see what avenues, what lanes we can go down that would be beneficial to both parties, because right off the bat, there's certain things that certain things he'll invest in and certain things he'll not so much. But as I said, he will give you his knowledge. He will share his knowledge with you. He's open to that, open to sharing his resources and even mentorship. So there are a lot of pluses with getting on a call with someone such as JT. Now, for myself, I knew I had this call for a couple days, and I could not think of any reason why this man should give me money. In all honesty, I couldn't think of one reason. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can use his brain. Maybe I can use his resources. Because while we all need money, that was not at the forefront of my thoughts, because I'm like, okay, if I'm going to ask this man for money, what am I going to be giving him in return? And I'm thinking to myself, I don't necessarily have anything tangible. I don't have anything that I could say, hey, JT, if you give me X, I can get X type of return, or I can make you a boatload of money. That's really not sufficient. I can't go in there with possibilities. At least in my mind, I have to go in there with something solid, something strong. And while I'm sitting on this call, I am just like, what do I really need? And I know it's resources and possibly mentorship, but it's not money. At least it's not money, because I don't know how to benefit him. Sure, he can give me money, but if it doesn't benefit him, I don't want it. I don't want to ask for money if it's not going to benefit the both of us. And I couldn't see a way at this time where what I'm doing with my channel could benefit us both. But what I will say is the experience is something that I won't forget, because it was probably about 3 hours plus for me on the call. And just kind of watching the interactions of, some of the other callers. And, this actually was my second call with JT. The first call, I didn't really get to speak to him. I didn't really get to talk to any one of his staff or anything like that, because it was just so busy. And when things are a little bit hectic, because for JT, you got to understand time is like super important, super valuable. And when you got 80 plus people, a fraction of whom you may speak to, and the ideas are not solid, the deals are not solid, the concepts are not solid, it's not thought all the way through, it can be frustrating because you got people that want your money and they don't actually bring anything to the table to be deserving of your money in some cases. Like, people got to understand, like, as a billionaire, as a wealthy individual, you can't come to them with some pie in the sky scenario where it's not thought out, it's not well planned, and then want them to fund the majority of the deal and you make the majority of the income and you're trying to give them pennies on the back end and think like that is sufficient. Like, who in the world would want to do business with you if that's the attitude that you're coming with and if that's the pitch that you're making? That's your business plan. Your business plan is to take more from me than you're putting into the deal. That is not a viable business plan, people. I would not suggest that you approach someone of any means with such an idea. I mean, it's almost like a slap in the face. It's selfish. And clearly you can see someone giving of their time and their energy, and you're wasting it with proposals that don't create a win-win scenario. I would urge, if there anybody who listens to this and they plan on meeting with JT, I would urge you have your stuff together. Because that man, while he's a hard worker, he doesn't have time to waste. Much like any of us. Some of the things that I saw on both calls, I think more so the first call than this time around, it made me question some people's intelligence. Did they really understand business to the level that they need to understand business to even go in business? Because they come in with weak offers. They're coming with nothing beneficial to where anyone would want to invest in their idea or concept. And they expect to still be in control and to still have the lion's share of income when they're not necessarily bringing the bag to the table. A lot of times they don't have a lot of money to bring to the table, and yet they want to maintain control and they want to be able to basically piss off JT's money. That's how I would look at it. And so that's why it took me, myself, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days to even, I wasn't even sure I was going to take the call this time around because I just didn't see how it could be beneficial to both of us. Yes, I can go in there with my hand out, but that's self-defeating. That doesn't serve me any good. For one, I look like a fool. I look like a fool with my hand out to a billionaire when we're here to make win-win deals. We're here to make profitable alliances, right? That's my thinking. I can't speak for anybody else. But I will say that overall, again, great experience with him and his team. I actually went on this call today to pitch my idea of I want to write a book, possibly do a movie, to tell my story of the things that happened to me within the last few years. It's a wild story. I haven't shared everything on this platform as of yet, but there are still pieces of the story coming together. I don't have the whole picture. But anyway, I went to the meeting with JT in hopes to at least get some sort of relationship, maybe pointed in the right direction. Maybe he knew someone or knows someone that may be able to assist me in putting together a book, maybe a book deal, something along those lines. So more so about relationship than actual funding at this time. Because like I said, I just didn't feel like I could bring anything to the table that warranted funding, where it would be of equal benefit at this time. And for me, I can respect that all day long. And I'm sure he can too. My main thing was I didn't want to waste his time. That's why I considered not taking the call. But I decided to take the call because there's still little nuggets and still little things you can pick up from a call like this. I mean, it's not every day we get to hear from a billionaire and have his ear. So I'm sure that the 80 people that was on the first call with me feel the same way. And the second call, it was a little bit more personal. So you got to speak with JT's team about whatever your idea was, whatever you were looking for, whether funding, mentorship, or relationship. Right? So that call had about 30 people. And that call, again, JT Zoom it, JT just doing his thing, him and his team doing his thing, talking to everyone, trying to make deals come together. I am definitely impressed by the way that he goes about it, because you know what? Today is Thursday, and I know during the week he probably had similar calls. So for this man to dedicate so much time to helping others, creating win-win partnerships, I think is awesome. And the cool thing about when you understand, when you understand life, when you understand situation, a lot of people could look at this situation and say, you didn't get any money. You got a little bit of advice. You wasted your time. You wasted your 3 hours. And see, that would be the loser. That would be the person that doesn't truly get it. Because, listen to me, the fact that I took the meeting, for one, that's a winner's mentality. You said you were going to do something, you committed to something, you moved forward with it, regardless of the outcome. It's all about perspective. It's all about what little nuggets you could have gained or picked up from the call, and not just from JT, but from other people that were on the call. Because we had all different people from varying backgrounds that were on these calls. And again, some people would say, the loser would say, you wasted your time on these calls. You wasted 3+ hours, what have you. But it's because of that call that I'm doing this particular show, this particular episode, and who knows where this might lead. That is a winner's mentality. That is seeing things from all sides. Sometimes we are called to do things that we may not fully understand. And it's what you choose to do with the thing you were called to do that's going to make all the difference. In this case, going to the meeting with billionaire JT Foxx and his crew. Now I can enlighten others, share my experience, and hopefully JT can make some money from others that come to him with deals where everyone wins. So it's all how you look at it. And I know for me, no one opportunity is going to determine my success. My success is determined solely on me. So I will take whatever advice that I can get that's going to lead to a successful and positive outcome, and I will use it to further my goals and dreams. There's never anything where you can't find gold in situation. The gold is always there. You just have to be the type of person to seek out the gold. You can't be regular and surface level and think that you are going to make it. You can't stop 3 feet from gold. Think and grow rich. Can't stop 3 feet from gold. You got to keep digging. So I urge you guys to hear me out. I hope that this will help somebody in some way, shape, or form with their next endeavor. Don't give up on yourself before you've even started. Don't quit on yourself. There are 1 million people out there with resources. 1 million plus, really. A lot of people with resources. People you have yet to meet. Set your intention. Keep the faith. And go get your dreams. I think JT started with less than $600 in a pickup truck. Came to the United States from Canada. Now, multi-billionaire. It's not about the money per se. It's really more about the relationship. The relationships, when, good relationships, you do business with people you like, right? So if you and somebody are getting along, if you and somebody click, you have a lot of common interests, it makes it easier to do business with, right? You have the same values, same moral code, makes it easier to do business with, right? You know, before going into business, how the deal is going to turn out because you're dealing with someone who has the same level of integrity that you do. And that's what makes it easy to go into business with others like yourself. So I just wanted to share my experience, drop some jewels on what I took away from my experience today. And hopefully someone can gain some value from this. I appreciate JT and his staff for meeting with me. I appreciate the advice that they gave me in regards to my story and my channel. And I will be implementing that. It's your boy, God's Chosen. And I'm out.